So I'm sure all of you have watched me stream this game. If you haven't, be sure to follow me on Twitch, by the way. And I absolutely adore it. This game is the perfect spy first-person shooter on the market, which there aren't a lot of, but it's the best one. Sorry, GoldenEye 007, your throne has been overthrown. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't know exactly how to make content for this game. There's already been quite a few videos on why Deceive Inc. is such a masterpiece in the modern era, and how it's an underrated gem, so I don't want to do just that. I also wanted to do a review on why I like the game so much, but there's also already been a few videos on that too. Then I just said, screw it, let's do both. So yes, this is both a personal review as well as a game design overview on Deceive Inc. I'm currently very interested in game design at the moment, as I am indeed developing a game right now. I'll even add in some footage of me making the game right now.
Yeah. What the fuck is a blender?
Before we begin, be sure to subscribe, as I do content like this fairly regularly. And be sure to like and comment on this video as well. As a smaller YouTuber, I am the algorithm's brown cow, so if you could be so kind to support me, it'd be greatly appreciated. And with that, let's get right into it. Deceive Inc. is a multiplayer shooter title that has you try your best to blend in with various NPCs while you try to break into a vault and steal some MacGuffin. You know murder mystery, like from Hypixel? It's kinda like that. You can queue up in solos, duos, and trios at the moment, though I prefer solos, since none of my friends play the game unfortunately. You can indeed have a ton of fun in duos and trios, I just never get to play them because I'm paired with people that just can never catch a fucking break. You walk around and gather intel, hacking into computers with the most versatile watch I've ever seen on this planet. Looking at you, my 8-year-old Apple Watch that doesn't even work anymore. Each intel source denotes how much intel you get from it, so people don't get confused. Phones are 1, tablets are 2, PCs are 3, and servers are 4. These are scattered around the map, so you'll never really run out of intel, until you run out of intel and have to flee around in the guard room because you got in for free but didn't have enough intel for the big purple door. Your primary goal is to break into the vault, but to do that you have to disable 3 vault terminals scattered in 5 locations around the map, because we couldn't make it easy for everyone. If you do happen to come across a room that doesn't have a vault terminal, it's either the biggest lifesaver or the biggest letdown. These vault terminals are locked behind rooms that are locked behind guard rooms, and you can't get into these guard rooms if you look like fucking Ernest. To get into these special rooms, you must have the appropriate security level, color-coded specifically so no one gets confused. Green is staff, blue is guards, purple is elite guards and scientists, and yellow/gold are the VIPs, of which there are only 1 or 2 of. And no, I would not recommend disguising as the VIPs, especially if they're right next to you, because it's really easy to suss out which one is the NPC and which one is about to shoot you for noticing they're disguised as a VIP. I would like to note that you can go into rooms if your security level is higher than the one required, denoted in stars on your character portrait. For example, purple guards can go into staff, guard, and technician rooms without any NPC batting an eye. If you aren't at the appropriate security level, you'll get scolded until you leave or get exposed like the rule breaker you are. The best way to fix this is to disguise as the NPCs right in front of them when you're barely outside and go about your business like nothing happened. Previously, I mentioned intel, and there is indeed a use for intel. It can be used to open things. Didn't know that hacking into a random phone would allow me to open a locked door or a random Oz safe, but okay. Each color door has its own cost associated with it, with green requiring the least amount of intel, and the gold doors requiring a special key card that costs 10 intel, though more on that in a moment. I mentioned the safes as well, and these hold special upgrades that the company gave to you, because it's really not suspicious at all for random colored safes to be scattered everywhere, with tips that essentially are performance enhancing drugs. These safes can be found in any location, and the color determines the rarity and strength of the associated upgrades. The color also determines where you can find the associated safe, with gray just being out in the open for anyone to grab, and gold upgrades only being on vault terminals and the vault itself. Which means if you aren't the one that got the vault terminals, you're going to have to fight for those chips yourself, and it certainly won't be an easy fight, no sir. The next phase after everyone speedruns opening the vault terminals is going into the vault itself. But in order to do that, you have to spend 10 intel first on getting a gold keycard, which requires you to find a 3D printer first. Because I guess Jody sometimes drops a keycard and has to make a new one himself. Actually, let me talk to you about this part, because this is the most stressful part of the mission. Extraction may give away your location, but at least you know who's a spy and who's not. It's highly suspicious for people to walk up to a random printer, as NPCs don't really like to go there, until they actually like to go there. Plus, you can hear the printer a mile away, and also hear the little jingle the keycards have. So if someone takes your keycard, or more importantly is making a keycard, it can be very obvious if that person doesn't move away from the printer. But you need to go to the printer to pick it up because you need a keycard in order to get into default, and this isn't me dissing the devs, no. This is very much a good game design decision that was made, and I don't want them to nerf the printer or make the printer part of the mission trivial. It's just very hard for me to not be on edge when a guard pops out of nowhere and moves forward with my fucking keycard. Oh yeah, keycards, before I forget. These are also scattered around the map, allowing you to get in places without spending intel and without looking suspicious trying to fucking open a door. See, NPCs can go indoors with no issue, but even if you had the right disguise, you still have to open the door yourself, either with intel or with a keycard. And it's really suspicious to just stand next to a door and it suddenly opens without anyone going through it. It takes a lot of time to hack through these doors because apparently Iris just wants to fuck you over right from the start. Anyways, back to the vault. So you grab your keycard, open the vault, and then take a really long ass time to get the briefcase. Now what? Well, your mission isn't over. No, you have to get back out of the vault and extract, giving other players a chance to kill you. Everyone on the map can see your location, albeit the location only updates every few seconds. You can spend intel if you have the briefcase to see where everyone else is at, but it drains intel really quickly. So you have to either show up with a ton of intel on hand, or you better start hacking those computers. If you manage to get to the extraction zone and not get your head knocked off, you've won. That's the main gameplay loop. But now we have to talk about the various spies you get to play as. And no, this isn't TF2. You get to play as multiple different spies. Even a sniper. Each character has a weapon, active ability, and passive ability. And you get a choice for each slot, choosing from 3 options each. Every spy has a certain theme to their abilities. Let me show you what I mean. Chavez is an old man who is to take in a game where you don't have a team unless you have a team. His skills all revolve around taking less damage, and his passives revolve around extra health, giving you extra survivability. However, he always carries a revolver, meaning you can't just mow down people with a machine gun while also not being able to get mowed down by a machine gun. Ace is a sniper, and the only one at that. Thankfully, this sniper can't kill you in one headshot, and if they do, then they're probably using the weapon that's really bad right now. She has various abilities that play off of her charging mechanic as well as tracking. Squire is your starting character and my personal favorite. Not only because he looks similar to my partner, but because he's apparently S tier? Well, not because of that reason, but he's easy to pick up and play. His abilities are hard to group in with each other as I can't really lump together tracking with a speed boost, but his active ability gives him passive buffs, while his passive ability gives him passive buffs. You're welcome. Larson is for players who run away from any fight and then want to stab you in the back. Well, joke's on you, Spy TF2 mains. I have my back against this corner, and you can't get me from here. His ability allows him to disappear and reappear at a new location, and his passive allows him to steal random shit from you and go about his day. Cavalier is a detective character in a game full of spies. Her abilities allow her to track people if they interact with certain props in the game, or even if they kill someone. Her passive isn't really a passive, but it changes her charge melee into a kick that can do various things, such as slow someone down or speed you up.
Kicking? Oh, I want to do some kicking!
Madame Zhu is like that evil spy that always manages to be alive in the sequels, and is always right fucking behind you. Her ability allows her to teleport to NPCs and take their cover. I say teleport loosely because it's not actually a teleportation thing, leaving behind a decoy that dissolves and laughs at you when you shoot it. It makes it really easy to get around or escape fights when you have your pants down. Her passives allow her to track down targets through various means, which really makes me wonder why Ace even bothers anymore. Hans is a big evil weapon in a game with a bunch of spies. His primary weapon is a shotgun in various flavors, my personal favorite is cookies and cream, and his active ability allows you to disable the enemy's abilities through various means. Red's main gimmick is that she has a healing ability and then the 2 bad ones. I kid, but these ones are just very hard to use. Hey, Editing Zombie here. Just wanted to pop in and say that Red's abilities aren't actually that bad. I tried using them in fights more recently, and I got a lot of mileage out of them. In fact, I'll probably put in some footage here if I do have some. I don't think I have any, but I'll probably put some here if I do. Yeah, so Charm is a lot more useful than I thought, and yeah. Anyways, back to Past Me. Also, I'm not fixing that one mistake I made earlier, you know which one. Her main ability is causing her and all foes in front of her to go into cover, giving those enemies debuffs. If they attack in any way, those enemies suffer from a worse debuff, causing them to take extra damage. Red, however, isn't the best at taking fights. Her guns deal low damage unless you use a shotgun, but her abilities can still take her through any fight. Yumi is the annoying one, and I hate her in every way. In fact, I only got her to expertise level to 8. She wields a slingshot that deals high damage and has gotten me killed way too fucking often. Her abilities shoot out various fields, ranging from disabling abilities to healing. So basically just Hans and Red in one annoying package. Her passives grant her bonuses when she destroys gadgets, either her own or other people's. I'll go over those in a minute, but first, do you like ninjas? Sasori is a person who wields a katana in a game where everyone uses a fucking gun. You're seeing a pattern here? Yeah, me too. His darts do solid damage, and he can use a melee attack by holding down the aim button and pressing left click, as if the melee button wasn't already there in the first fucking place. His mechanics revolve around poison, which prevents you from interacting with hackables instead of damaging you. Okay. Octo is a hacker guy whose mustache is probably fake. His entire gimmick is that his weapons use intel as a secondary ammo source, but he can gain intel from hacking those intel sources and even your enemies. He also has a casino theme going on with his passives, which is very amusing to someone like me who has terrible luck in video games. I didn't notice when writing the script, but also apparently Octo is zero ace. Good for him. Vigil is the newest agent and is not in the wiki for some reason. She is the fabled knight, the mentor of Squire, but had to go into hiding for lore reasons that I'm not getting into now. Her weapons are kind of similar to Squire's, but also kind of better in some ways. Her active abilities allow you to switch to an entirely different weapon, and her passives aren't really passive since you have to activate them yourself. Is it me, or do these women just not like to have passive passives? She can place down various gadgets that stick to walls, NPCs, or players, granting certain effects. They would be really cool if I didn't forget to use them every time I play this character. And those are all the characters at the time of this video. Now, onto the gadgets, because you know a cool spy game has to have cool gadgets. There are currently 10 gadgets, all spread across 4 categories. I'll go over them one by one, because this video certainly needed more padding. You have 2 slots to equip each gadget, and they're all fairly balanced. Well, except one, but we'll get to you in a second. The automated turret is for when you want to play Engineer and Deceive Inc. Placing it down spawns a turret that fights for you, whether it be NPCs that want to pepper you with small ass damage, or players that want to actually kill you. Unfortunately, it's really flimsy, so the moment you use it, it just breaks because someone shot one singular bullet at it. The bounce mat is put in the defense category, which confused me at first, but then I figured out that it's really good at letting you escape. The mat can inflate, allowing you to reach high up places, block entrances, or even bounce someone off of the map. I personally don't use it all that often, because if I do get into a fight, I panic and forget to use it. The goo pod emits ink, goo that slows everyone down. And I mean everyone, yourself included. You get 3 of these before you have to pick them up or self-destruct them. It's really useful for people who just jump around everywhere, making it really hard to fucking hit them. The hack trap is one of my personal favorites, as it serves a few purposes. It both snaps the location of the spy that hacked the trap and gives you some intel. It's really useful for defending a guard room while I'm opening a purple door, but I also find that these go off when I'm super far away from where I put it last, so it's not really that useful. The Hollow Mimic is for when you want to play Prop Hunt and Deceive Inc. It's very useful, as many people, myself included, look around for human characters when searching for spies, and don't think to stop and see if that potted plant was there a while ago. Recon drones are kinda helpful. They can allow you to search the map without having to be there personally, and mark people with a trace, allowing you to find them later. However, you can't control the drone without being in the drone, meaning your character is left to the elements while you try to find that large sin that you hate. The Signal Scrambler is arguably the worst gadget in the game. It disables other people's gadgets, which is useful for like 6 of the 10 ones. But even then, the range is pretty bad and you can just shoot most of the gadgets anyway. Plus, people don't use a lot of the gadgets besides 2, arguably 3 of them, so why would you need this? Also, there's an entire character dedicated to removing gadgets, and that's not even the most used part of her game plan. The Shield Brella is for when you want to place a tune and Deceive Inc. Holding it out allows you to block shots from the front, and you can place it down to give yourself some cover. However, when placed down, it has a weak spot at the bottom that destroys it instantly, so if your opponent knows about it, then you better hope he can still fight, otherwise you're just dead. The Spyglass is still one of the best gadgets in my opinion, even though I don't use it much nowadays. It allows you to hack things from a distance, making it a lot less suspicious when you get intel or open a door. Tripwire is our final one, and is in steep competition with the Hack Trap. These allow you to set up tripwire hooks that break people's cover and traces them. While this one doesn't give you intel and can be more easily avoided, it essentially blocks off a room for you. The tripwires can trace more than one spy, and it gives an accurate location, versus just a snapshot. So those are all the gadgets and things I wanted to talk about regarding the gameplay. And wow did I yap! we should probably wrap this up why I like the game design so much. And yeah, while I am being snarky about the game, I do enjoy the game a lot. It has a slower time to kill, so being ambushed isn't going to instantly be the deciding factor for you, except for when it is. The stealth mechanics just make it so much more fun. You should give it a try sometime. Trust me, you are going to have a good time with this game, and that's arguably because of the game design decisions that I'm going to go over right now actually. One key thing that I find to be the best part of the game is the level of customization. Since you have 3 options for your weapon, ability, and passive, it allows for a lot more freedom in your loadouts compared to most hero shooters. Because for some reason, games like Overwatch never allow you to choose how you want to decimate your enemies. Then you have 2 gadgets that you bring along with you, and the field upgrades, which allow you to further customize your build to cater to how you want to play. However, unlike most games with passive upgrades, you do have to work for these upgrades. It has the elements of a roguelite without the randomness of what you get, though I can imagine a timeline where each gray save has a chance of giving you an upgrade that is completely worthless in the gray slot. And each field upgrade you get feels appropriately balanced for when you get them. The grays are the easiest to get, so naturally they are the least effective. However, the grays and greens of the world still feel like an upgrade, so, almost, nothing feels like a wasted slot or wasted of time. Also, all of the classes in the game are balanced so that none of them feel too overpowered. This is most likely due to the fact that their guns do pitiful damage compared to most other shooters. Each character has their own time to shine when played, and genuinely never feels like you are unnecessarily candy-capped because you picked Yuumi. Each skill feels incredible and unique and are all very thematically on point. Take Octo for instance. His passives all revolve around managing intel, as well as a certain luck or casino theme backing it as well. This makes sense thematically, as judging by the voice lines, it seems intel is something that turns Octo on. The game also does feel very nicely paced, at least as of the latest patch. While there are things that do slow you down intentionally, it never feels like there's a dull moment in the game, as you do have to worry about the 50 other spies trying to shoot your head off. And the amount of waiting is just enough to allow you to plan where you're going next, without boring you. I do have a bit of a complaint though, as having the briefcase is very strong, though I guess it is warranted since you went through heaven and hell just to get here. Since you can see everyone's location at the push of a button, but everyone else has to wait to see your location, it makes it very easy to ambush people even though you have a big fucking target on your back. You won't always have the ability to see where people are, as it does run on your intel. But that's another gripe I have, because this chip right here is either completely worthless or can be one of the best in the game if not balanced properly. The exfiltration scanner is made worthless due to the fact that there tends to be a lot of intel in the various rooms in the vault, so when you're escaping, you essentially can pick up intel real quick on your way out, like you're going to McDonald's for a McFlurry after doing your errands for the day. Also, field upgrades tend to give you value throughout the game instead of just one phase of it. Like Bulletproof Fabric gives you health, which is useful for pretty much all the time. Exfiltration scanner is only useful when you have the package, and that's not always going to happen. Also, if there isn't a lot of intel outside of the vault, then everyone might just run this chip because having the location of everyone close to you is just that good when you're trying to leave without your head blown off. The extraction sequence though is very well done. When you get the briefcase, you're basically at the farthest point away from any single extraction point, and there are naturally a lot of places where the people congregate, like near doors. So it means that you can't relax and take an easy win, because you could very easily run into someone and get shot as soon as they see you press a shift key. And even when you do get on the extraction point, you usually won't get off easy unless A, the other spies are in fucking Narnia, or B, everyone is dead. Plus, I really like how the NPCs are color-coded, allowing you to know what disguise you should have before entering a room. It makes it very easy to understand for new people, and stops people from having to memorize each NPC by face and by name. So that's a somewhat brief overview on this evening, why I like it, and why it has great design. But oh dear viewer, what if you wanted to play it for yourself? Well, I thought up a few tips for you specifically. Yes, I am indeed trying to make you feel special, specifically you, because I really want people to play this game, smile. When playing for the first time, you should always note that NPCs don't ever jump unless they get up from sitting for some reason. That means take your hand off that spacebar unless you really need to get across a small gap for whatever reason. Also, only citizens and staff crouch when they hear gunshots, and they never walk while crouching. So don't hit that control button unless you're one of these. NPCs will rarely call you out on your bullshit unless you're in the wrong room, so you only really need to watch out for other players, as they have the agency to send you back to the matchmaking queue. There are a handful of abilities that are useful for checking if NPCs are secretly spies that won't blow your cover. Larson, for as annoying as he is, has an ability that allows you to pickpocket players without blowing your cover, but it gives you heat when you hit an actual NPC. You can use this to check if the person in front of you is a spy. Simply hit them with a melee attack, and if you get a keycard, chip, or some intel, you know what to do next. While these abilities are nice, don't rely on them to know who is a spy and who isn't. Learning how to call people out for their behavior can make the difference between you getting the briefcase and you screaming profanities at the game. And that's all I have on Deceive Inc. And it only took 4,000 words, 19 pages, and about 18 minutes to talk about it. Deceive Inc. is a very good game, and you should try it. The developers are very active with the game and churn out updates regularly. In the last patch, they made some awesome changes to some of the maps, and they genuinely feel awesome to play on. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to go infiltrate a vault somewhere. What do you mean by Apple Watch doesn't have a disguise feature? Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I just wanted to do this little outro bit because doing outros is my thing now, yeah. Definitely didn't do text outros before, and now I'm doing voice outros. This is so unscripted. This is a very unscripted outro. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Please be sure to subscribe and like and comment. Let me know if this style of video is intriguing to you, or if I should just go back to how I was normally doing it, aka not being snarky. I don't really have anything else to say, so I'll see you all in the next one.